All right, y'all, back at it again with another video. Got locked in with Larry, with your boy Carlton, and we got.
My name is Larry Williams.
Yes, sir. I hope y'all had a good Super Bowl weekend. You know, we got an interesting topic today. We're talking about the biggest hustle in prison.
Congratulations to the Chiefs, too,
Yep.
by the way.
I know, I'm rest in peace, 49ers fans. I know that was a hurtful loss to y'all, but hey,
Yes.
it is what it is.
And shout out to my homeboy Bree, locked up. I know you're a 49ers fan. Shout out to you.
Shout out for real.
My Richmond homeboy.
But yeah, so what we got today, y'all, is we got a very interesting topic. Talking about how people, hustle and make money in prison. Larry, if you could just walk us through, like, what do you think, is one of the, if you have an experience that you've seen, people really grind and get it in prison? You know what I'm saying? What type of hustles have you seen?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Everybody knows the answer to that question. It's drugs. Now, but the thing is this, right? Dudes don't realize when you selling drugs, you have a class of people who sell drugs. Now, just because a lot of people think that, all right, boom, I got a drug and it's gonna sell itself. Yeah, that could happen, right? But at the same time, you put yourself in a situation that people only getting this from you because you are the only source. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as they can get somebody else to get it from you, you are cut out the picture because you're not a good person to sell drugs. You know what I'm saying? Now that's when I learned that you have good drug dealers and you have bad drug dealers.
So what's the difference between a good drug dealer? I ain't never heard that. Like, how you?
A good drug dealer is somebody who I'm gonna break it down like this. In the streets, you have an unlimited amount of people out there selling drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But look in certain areas, how many of all of those people selling drugs blow up to be that dude, you know what I'm saying? And they got a whole lot of money. It's not a lot, you know what I'm saying? Now, when you look at it, the reason why that person was able to do that and these other people couldn't do that is because he had mentally what it takes to do that. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's funny, right? You hear these rappers and stuff, like they talk about that if they were in the jungle, they would have been walked out with a mink or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and all that. And I remember Jay-Z said this, right? I'm gonna just say it's better. The better example is what Jay-Z said. He was like, when he said, no matter where you go, you are who you are. Remember who said the verse? He was like, he was like, you walk like a ball player.
Yeah, that's hard though.
No matter who you are who you are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now, no matter what, now if you are in jail selling drugs, and you were on the streets and you were selling drugs and you were that dude, like, you know what I'm saying? You go in there, you can do the same thing. And it's funny, I done seen dudes that I was locked up with that was getting money on the streets, and then they in prison, and I go to him and be like, what's up, my dog? And he got a pound of weed on his locker, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta think about this, right? A pound of weed in prison is a crazy amount of money. I ain't even gonna do the math to how much this is, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want no drug dealer like that. But at the same time, in prison, right?
Wait, so you saying a pound of weed is more than on the streets? Like,
of
in
course,
prison?
it's way more. Like in streets, in prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
A small like J with like dust in it, right? That you probably couldn't even get housed while here. Yeah. In the streets, people buying those for like $5. Like, you get this much weed, like it's a piece of paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
With this much weed dust in it, right? Was going for like $5 in prison. Now for 25, you get like a spoon. You know what I'm saying? And that's like probably about like 5 of those joints I just showed you.
Mm-hmm.
To 8 of those. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if you got a pound of weed, how many of those you have? Man, dudes be sending home like G money, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I ain't gonna tell you how they sending home G money, but you know what I'm saying? Dudes getting it in there. Like, if you that type of dude, you know what I'm saying?
But it's probably a lot that come with that. That's why when you said mindset, you got to be.
It's a lot that comes with it because you got people that might want to rob you.
Mm-hmm.
You got people that might want to tell on you. You know what I'm saying? Now, I didn't see any dudes selling drugs in the pod, right? I didn't see one dude, when I was at Nottoway, dude was getting money with the dope. You know what I'm saying? He wound up making a meal for everybody in the pod.
A million?
A meal. Like, you know those, you see on the videos where dudes make those
I thought you
prison
said a
meals?
million.
I wish. But you know how dudes make those prison meals and stuff?
Uh-huh.
He did that for everybody in the pod.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about it. And the reason why he did that is because he knows that it was probably people in there hating on him. It was probably people that probably wanted to tell on him. So you got to think about it. He making everybody happy. He ain't one of them people that's selling drugs and trying to piss everybody off. You know what I'm saying? That in prison, when somebody tell on you, they call it, either it's two ways they're going to tell on you. They either going to go tell to the officer whenever they not in the person's, people can't see them, or they're going to do what is called drop a note.
So let me ask you this.
And drop a note is they wrote a little letter saying whatever, telling the police whatever you doing. And
I was like a dry snitching, like you snitching.
Well, they telling on you, but it's through a paper. They putting it on paper. And that's what they call somebody drop a note on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah.
So what you think is like the common personality? So to be a drug dealer in prison, you gotta have a good personality, basically. Like you gotta be like your peers.
We'll put it like this: you don't gotta have a good personality, but you gotta be smart. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say it is because when I was in, it was just crazy because people don't realize if you're a drug dealer, you are an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you understand that I'm buying this amount of drugs for X amount of money to make X amount of money, that's what businesses do.
Mm-hmm.
But in the drug game, their re-up money is in the business world capital. You see what I'm saying? So as long as all you're gonna hear if you're in the drug life or whatever, you're gonna hear people talking about, I ain't trying to mess up my re-up money. My re-up money is my capital in business terms. And they don't realize that from a child, they wasn't working jobs. They were selling drugs. So you got to think about it. They were running the business ever since they were younger. Mm. And the government put them in a position to do it. Mm. So when I was in prison, it was funny. I wound up using that same terminology to teach people how to get the GED. Mm. Now,
so it's the same thing, but just a different.
It's the same exact thing. It's nothing different.
Yeah.
And it's funny, right? Because
it's a different product.
These dudes, but it's so funny, right? Because it's the exact same thing, different product.
Mm-hmm. And you can have a whole business model, a whole business
plan. Yeah, they got all that. You know what I'm saying? And they don't even know that you got it. Like, they can do your whole business plan, and they don't even know that they can't do it. So it was funny when I was teaching the GED class. I had these dudes. They saying, man, I don't know how to do percentages. I don't know how to do fractions. I was like, bro, yes, you do. They was like, man, no, I don't, man. It's just too confusing. So what I told them is this. I used the drug game to help them learn how to do percentages and get their GED. Mm-hmm. And I broke it down like this. They already know that in an ounce, it is 28 grams. So I broke it down. I said, how many quarters you gonna get out of an ounce? And they told me you get 4. I said, man, you just did fractions and percentages. They was like, how? I was like, okay, if you use your scale, 1/4 of this ounce is gonna be 7 grams. And they was able to tell me how to break it down. You got 7 grams, and then I said, oh, what's half of a quarter? They said an 8 ball. And so, half 8 ball is 3.5. Mm-hmm. So that's how and I said, what's half of 3.5? they was like points. They was like a 16.
Mm.
So I was able to show them how to. I broke down fractions for them. So then I was able to show them how to turn a fraction into a decimal, and how to turn a decimal into a percentage. And once I showed them all of this by breaking down the drug game,
Do you feel like you made them even stronger drug dealers? Because now they got math behind it.
I actually I turned them away from drugs.
Mm.
And the reason why is I was able to use, like, a lot of these people, because of their environment, they were not going to school.
Mm-hmm.
They would be in school by the streets because they had to put they had to put food on the table. You know, you got to think about it. These dudes, imagine if you were growing up in a situation, all your friends selling drugs, but your moms ain't got no food on the table. Y'all hungry. You and your little brother hungry. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? Stay in the house, not sell drugs? You gonna go out there and get that money for your family. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about it. That's where they was getting their education.
But
so
my thing is, when it comes to prison, though, I feel like that same mentality kind of spills over, because there's a lot of lack in prison too. I know there's a lot of people that go hungry. People probably get tired of eating that prison food too, and then you got a family at home that still needs you to provide. So you find any type of way to get your hustle on too.
Remember what we said in the beginning? You are who you are.
Yeah.
So if you was putting food on the table,
Mm-hmm.
on the streets, if you in there and you see an opportunity to put food on the table, what you gonna do?
Same thing.
Exactly.
You gonna hustle.
Yeah. So it's like, for real, just because you away don't mean that you're not gonna still try to provide.
So do you think that's like a personality that some people have? Like, some people have a certain personality that's like,
As a man,
it take a lot.
I'm gonna tell you this.
To be cut like that.
I'm gonna tell you this. What's gonna change you for real? Some people got it before they had kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's like, it's crazy, right? Because once you have kids, right, your mentality changes. Because if you are any kind of a man, you're gonna want to protect your family. You're gonna want to provide for your family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people are gonna do that, whether it's a job, whether it was a business. Some people do it with drugs. And once you have kids, you become more responsible. Now, like I said, you can be a drug dealer that's irresponsible, that's messing up your re-up money, or you can be a drug dealer that's responsible and making sure that you got enough money to get to where you are trying to be, goal-wise.
Mm.
Yeah.
Man, that's deep, man. That's real. I feel like that applies a lot to the outside world too. You know what I'm saying? For real, like, yeah, you gotta get it where you live, wherever you at.
I seen some people in a couple of years, right? And this was messing up money. Go home with like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 that they done made off of selling drugs in prison. But that's because they were smart. And it's a lot of people selling drugs. Everybody don't get to do this. But you got to be responsible whatever you're doing. But but selling drugs really ain't what it is, though. Selling drugs is just the vehicle. I suggest people change up the product.
Mm. Help people instead of hurting people. That's the real product.
Well,
you create a product that can help somebody. That's really how you get fed.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining today. That's another video of Locked In with Larry. Hope y'all have a good one for real. Thank y'all.
Yeah, have a good one.